Alright, you guys, we're going to do pages 4, 5, and 6 of your Unit 6 Geometry review. Just talking about the odds in these videos. If you need help with the evens, please come into tutoring. Starting with number 37, it says a man is walking his dog on level ground in a straight line with the dog's favorite tree. The angle of elevation from the man's present position to the top of the nearby flat telephone pole is 30 degrees, so that's right there. The angle of elevation from the tree to the top of the telephone pole is 45 degrees. If the telephone pole is 40 feet tall, how far is the man with the dog from the tree? So, this is what I'm looking for. How far is the man from the tree? So the first thing I want to do is I want to find this value right here. I know that if it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle, then my sides right here and right here are the exact same thing. So this side is 40 feet, so is this one. The next thing I want to do is look at it as just a 30, 60, 90. So this whole triangle, to find this whole distance. So if this side is 40 and I have a 30, 60, 90, my pattern is x, 2x, x radical 3. So that means that this whole side right here, if this side is 40, this whole side is 40 radical 3. So right here is 40 radical 3. So in order to solve for that missing piece, the whole thing is 40 radical 3, so I just subtract 40 radical 3, subtract from that 40, and you get 29.3. And that's in feet. It said round to the nearest tenth, so that's why it's 0.3. Okay? Moving on to number 39. It says you have a right triangle. It has a 60-degree angle. So 60-degree angle with a right triangle. The leg adjacent to the angle has a length of 7. Find the length of the other leg. So I know in a right triangle, this side and this side, those are legs. So if it's talking about the leg adjacent to the 60, then that would be this one right here. And it says find the length of the other leg. So you're looking for that guy. The first thing I'm going to do is label my pattern. I know that in a 30, 60, 90, this side is 2x, this side is the x side, and this one is x radical 3. And what we do is we set it equal to our pattern, and then we get the x by himself. So we divide by radical 3, and you get x equals 7 over radical 3. So that x side is this, but you can't leave it like that because there's a radical in the denominator. So you have to rationalize it by multiplying by radical 3 over himself. 7 radical 3 goes on top over radical 3 times radical 3 is 3. So that is the x side, and that's what you're looking for. So that's your answer. Looking at number 41, it says the hypotenuse of a right triangle. So I know that's going to be the side across from the 90. The hypotenuse of a right triangle with a 30-degree angle. Sorry, that would be the 60. This would be the 30 because it's short side. Has a length of 9. What is the length of the leg adjacent to the 30-degree angle? So the reason this one's 60 is because it's across from the longer side. This one's 30 because it's across from the shorter side. So if you want to find the leg adjacent to the 30, then it's the one right next to the 30. So you're looking for this side right here. I know it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle, so I label my pattern. This side is 2x, this side is x, and this one is the x radical 3 side. So the first thing you do is set the pattern equal to the side they gave you, And then the next thing you do is solve for the x. So you have to divide by 2, and you get x equals 4.5. And so you would solve for the other sides just by plugging in the x. That makes this side 4.5 and this side 4.5 radical 3. Turn the page for the next odds. Number 43 says Albert is standing at point A. He takes a sighting to the top of a cliff, point C. The angle of elevation is 30 degrees, so that guy goes right here. Becky is standing at point B and takes a sighting to the top of the same cliff, point C. The angle of elevation is 45 degrees. That's right here. If the cliff is 100 feet high, find the exact distance between Albert and Becky. So this is very similar to our dog tree problem we just worked. First thing you want to do is focus on that 45, 45, 90 triangle right there. So if this side is 100, then I know this side is also 100. Because in a 45, 45, 90, these two sides are the same. Then I focus on the 30, 60, 90 to find the entire bottom side. And then to find the distance between here, we'll just subtract. So I've got this side is 100, this side is 30. So I'm going to label my pattern and solve for this bottom side. Across from the 30, the pattern is x. Across from the 90 is 2x. And across from the 60 is x radical 3. So if x equals 100, then I take that 100 and I plug them in here so that this whole side is 100 radical 3. So that guy goes here. And to solve for this missing piece right here, you just want to subtract 100 radical 3 minus 100. And you get 73.2. And that's in feet. So 73.2 feet. It says find the exact distance, so that would insinuate that we might want that in simplest radical form, which would be 100 radical 3 minus 100. And what we know about radicals is you can't subtract unless you have the same radical in both, and so this would be your final answer. If it said round to the nearest tenth, it would be the top one. If it said exact, it would be the bottom one. Looking at number 45, this will be our last problem on the videos. It says the shorter base of the trapezoid measures 6 units, so that's the top. A to D measures 14 units, and the measure of angle DAB, that measure is 30 degrees. Measure of CBA is 45 degrees. Find the number of units along the longer base. So we're looking for all of this guy. The first thing I notice is that if this top is 6, then this piece right down here is also going to be 6 because it's a rectangle and those two sides are the same. The next thing I notice is I've got a 30, 60, 90 right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my sides with the pattern that I know. This is x radical 3. Set equal the pattern to the side they give you, so 2x equals 14, and solve for x. Divide by 2, so x is 7. So once you get that 7, you plug them in. So this height is 7, and this side is 7 radical 3. So far I've got part of the base, right? I've got the 7 radical 3 and I've got the 6. The only piece I'm missing is this one right here. I know that if this height is 7 right here, then this height is also 7. Now I've got a 45, 45, 90 with one of the sides being 7, so I know that this side and this side will be the same, and this one will be 7 radical 2. So now I can find the base here is 7 radical 3 plus the 6 plus the 7. It doesn't tell me what to round to, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it in simplest radical form. I know I can only combine these two guys because they're like terms. 6 plus 7 is 13, plus that 7 radical 3. I can't combine any further because this guy has a radical. You could plug it into your calculator and round to the nearest tenth if they specified that way. Well, I hope the video has helped, guys. Please come in to see your teacher if you have any other questions.